Joining the Indian panel is Sushant Sareen, a senior fellow at the Vivekananda International Foundation, General Bakshi, editor of the Indian Military Review and Defence Analyst. Sanjay Jha is joining the panel of the Congress Party. Maroof stays on. And joining the panel from Pakistan right now is Syed Tariq Peerzada from Islamabad and Zafar Hilaly from Karachi. Thank you very much. In fact, Mr. Peerzada, for this very reason, that this second round of vituperative venom has been now thrown by Hafiz Saeed, for this reason alone, if for nothing else, Nawaz Sharif must now come to Delhi, just to prove at least Hafiz Saeed wrong. Don't you think so?
Well, Arnab, your problem is that you are so obsessed with Hafiz Saeed that you have turned him, in your mind, a national hero of Pakistan. He's a head of a very small party. He is not a political force in Pakistan to be reckoned with.
Maybe you call terrorists.
I'm just correcting your
parties.
So your problem is that each time you analyze the situation, you literally fumble, and this is why the program goes astray. My advice to you is talk about the political forces in Pakistan. That is People's Party, Muslim League, Tehreek-e-Insaf, Pakistan Armed Forces as a pillar of stability in the country and a supporter of present democratic regime. So this is what we have to talk about.
So I'll tell you
what. Talk about Hafiz Saeed.
So why
you
don't
are literally taking this conversation
Why don't you say tonight, Mr. Peerzada, that Hafiz Saeed is a globally acknowledged terrorist? Just say that.
Why would I say that? He has been exonerated by the Supreme Court of Pakistan.
Right.
That is your desire that I should say that. But that is not a correct statement.
And that
he is a very ordinary public figure and nothing more.
Right.
And your charges against him still are awaiting adjudication. And that is the reality on the ground.
No, you see, you didn't answer my question. And I'm absolutely sure. But I'm actually concerned today, Mr. Peerzada, that for all the, all the theatre with which you present your points of view, that tonight, Mr. Peerzada, don't take it otherwise, but I sense today, sitting in Islamabad, that you are scared to say anything about Hafiz Saeed. I hope this doesn't reflect.
No, I just
hope
said
it doesn't reflect.
He's a very ordinary figure. He's a very ordinary figure.
He's an ordinary figure who carried out the Mumbai terror attack.
He's not a political force.
No, you see,
I'll take this obsession.
No,
what can I say?
No, it's not, Mr.
He's your obsession.
Mr. Peerzada.
I never discuss Hafiz Saeed.
Mr. Peerzada, remember this. Remember this. Today you have to rise above all these extremist hardline groups. You have to rise above.
I would rise above the present situation.
You have to rise above, and I'd like to go to D Bakshi next, because you have to rise above all those groups. All those groups which try and put your democratically elected government on the back foot. I remember the Jamaat-e-Islami, General Bakshi, which is, I don't think it's part of the Nawaz Sharif coalition, which got very angry when Sharif asked for visa-free travel between Indians and Pakistanis. Today, if Pakistan is to move forward, it has to really isolate these groups within, which is why it is important for Nawaz Sharif now to be there at Modi's swearing in.
Arnab, the central construct of a Westphalian nation state is that it disarms its population, and the entire power of coercion is retained by its armed forces and police forces. That is the basis of a Westphalian nation state. In Pakistan, this central tenet has been seriously violated by the arming of a whole host of these terrorist groups. And the chickens are coming to roost in the casualties this country has inflicted upon itself. Now they could rot for all one is concerned and stew in their own juices. The problem is they have followed these groups like the Lashkar-e-Toiba, which have become a nuisance for not only India but also Afghanistan. It is a tragedy to be in the Pakistani neighborhood. The tragedy this nation state has inflicted upon itself. I'm sorry it is now spreading that to the rest of South Asia. South Asia by itself is a beautiful construct. All the 7 leaders who have been invited are coming here. The problem in SAARC is Pakistan, because it is busy exporting terror. It is busy using non-state actors to destabilize its neighbors. And in the bargain, I'm very sorry to state that the country being destabilized most steeply is Pakistan's polity itself. Pakistan will pay a heavy price for this, but they don't seem to understand. And I was trying to warn that the deep state in Pakistan will firstly put lots of hurdles and obstacles in Nawaz Sharif coming here. And even if he comes here, they will try and embarrass
but maybe
even
Sharif,
the host
no, but maybe, General Bakshi,
terrorist incident
but General Bakshi, maybe Sharif,
That is a very immature analysis, and let me say a couple of things, Arnab.
Sir, this is...
I'm sorry, you have already had the first attack. Please see the news headline.
Why was there an attack in Herat today? What was the reason for that? Why did Pakistan back out of the decision to give MFN status to India? Is it true or not that the Jamaat-e-Islami was at the forefront of the opposition to Pakistan contemplating MFN status to India? And despite what has happened in Herat, and the indications of the ISI involvement, Mr. Hilaly, we have not withdrawn our invitation to Nawaz Sharif. That, in my view, is a big favor. In my view, it is a sign of great magnanimity. And I think Sharif should now, if he can't restrain, stand up to the hardline elements and take the flight to New Delhi on Monday. And probably he will.
Yeah.
Maybe. We hope so.
Well, you know,
we hope that he will.
Arnab, I
to
think
be there at the swearing-in ceremony.
Yes. I think there are two or three things I'd like to say. Number one, I think anybody who shakes hands with Mr. Bakshi, he better be careful lest he develop rabies. Because Bakshi is already so rabid that I think that there is a real danger of that. Secondly, you tell us, you advise us to isolate extremists while you elect them.
No, 1 second. What did you say, Mr.
Bakshi? My goodness. Now that's really rich, isn't it? You elect extremists and you tell us that we should isolate them. Wonderful.
Sir, you please speak about the facts.
Finally,
and the facts of the matter are whether
and
or
if
not,
I may,
in your
and
view,
explain to you
whether
what
or not
is
in
the
your
problem
view,
with Mr. Nawaz Sharif and the invitation. If you stop talking, you'll listen.
Mr. Bakshi will respond.
Hello.
So, 1 second, I'll
the
listen
problem
to you.
is, Mr.
But provided you stay...
Goswami, the problem is
yes,
this.
Mr. Bakshi. No, provided you stay
That
within
you
the
see,
tone and
Mr.
tenor of the
Modi,
discussion. The discussion is whether your country can take on your hardliners. Yes, Mr. Bakshi.
I would just like to tell my Pakistani interlocutor, your army has been ruling you for so long. And I hope you know the difference between a mister in the Pakistan army is supposed to be a second lieutenant. I happen to be a major general. Please, so I think let's get our designations right. Right? Because I expected the Pakistanis at least to be aware of a military culture. And as far as you advising us on who to elect and who not to elect, I think you better leave it to the Indian people. We know whom to elect. And I think we can run our democracy far better than you have run yours. You need a lot of help from your army. You need a lot of help from your army.
That's why Congress is bleeding with every passing moment. That is why Congress is bleeding with every passing moment. And all those Congressites are the most defeated people on earth.
1 second, we have a congressman on the show, Sanjay Jha, but even he will tell you here, sir, that we respect the way our democracy is constructed. And please restrain yourself in making any sweeping suggestions about our democracy.
Corruption,
because
democracy
Sanjay
is
Jha,
run by corruption, bad governance, under your lack of growth.
Anyway,
this is the problem that you have in India.
1 second, please.
Pakistani counterpart.
Hear it from Congress spokesman Sanjay Jha.
1 minute, no matter what political differences we may have within our entire political ecosystem, sir, when it comes to issues of our national integrity and honor, of our security, of the lives of our people, we are all on the same side.
Hear that.
Please, we have just had a verdict from the people of India.
You can't talk about
over
honor in the
500 million
presence of
people have
corruption
voted, and
being
we respect it.
practiced in India.
We may have differences with the Bharatiya Janata Party, but let me assure you, when it comes to issues of our country, we sink those differences. We are one. We are united, we always will be. And it is very unfortunate that you are making all kinds of ridiculous, preposterous statements that we condemn and we outright
well, I have a news for you. India is the most polarized country
going to work.
At the
it's an
present
exercise
time.
in futility. And I can tell you, I can only add one point for you, sir. Your reality is that you have, for a change, a popularly elected civilian government. Unfortunately, if they don't take the initiative in trying to perhaps progress peace with India much more and let Pakistan army remain the elephant in the room, you will be the losers. I think if Mr. Modi has made a gesture, it is up to the Pakistani government to respond appropriately. That's your call. But please do not make
you
all
are
these
raising doubt about
statements
it.
Your problem
is you are raising doubts about his trip to India, like you have been raising doubts about the commitment of Pakistan to peace in the last 60 years. So you guys are only saying a problem.
Sir, I can only tell you what the anchor Arnab Goswami asked you. Hafiz Saeed has a $10 million bounty on him. You don't put a bounty on a man if he's a freewheeling Democrat making organized speeches. You know that.
He is not a force to be reckoned with.
You know that he's an accepted international terrorist.
You guys are having a problem.
Now, if you're going to be turning a blind eye, if you're in denial on Hafiz Saeed, you're in denial on 2611, then I think Pakistan is a serious internal issue to worry about.
It's certainly
That's
an
all
issue.
I want to say.
Talk to Mr. Modi.
He'll tell
you,
Mr. Peerzada, Mr. Peerzada, we are actually presenting you. Understand what's happening. We are presenting and offering you a great opportunity to move on.
You are not offering us any opportunity.
We are.
You are
We are offering you that opportunity
India
today
to establish its leadership. You are helping your country, and we will respond.
Mr. Peerzada,
in the best interest.
Mr. Peerzada, I find it so strange today that you are so scared sitting in Islamabad to even admit that this man Hafiz Saeed, not an ordinary Pakistani citizen like you call him, he has a bounty of $10 million on his head. Right?
So,
go back.
That makes
there
him a
is
national
an Interpol
hero.
red corner notice for him.
Or he may be a national villain in India, but he's not a national hero in Pakistan.
Well, great he's not. A terrorist cannot be a hero. But my question is to Sushant Sareen right now, taking the debate forward. Mr. Gen Bakshi, I'll come to you. Sushant Sareen, do you think Nawaz Sharif will now look back at these people in the eye, including Hafiz Saeed, seize the opportunity, take the flight, and whatever the risk that may go with it for him internally, in order to send a larger message to his own people that Pakistan cannot stand isolated today in the global community of nations?
I'm afraid
Mr. Sareen, we lost your audio there. I'm going to set your mic right and come back to you. Maroof, do you think he'll do that? Time is running out. We're already 4 hours behind the time with which they said they would get back to us. And your response also to what I've seen is needless aggression today from our Pakistani guest, especially Mr. Peerzada.
Well, Arnab, I'll answer your question in two parts. One is, I think for Mr. Sharif, quite clearly, this is a litmus test because he, in his election promises, had talked about greater trade with India. So if he wants to begin the process, there's no harm in getting to know Mr. Modi under the cover of so many other countries, 7 other countries visiting India, and establish a rapport and then take the dialogue process forward if he seriously wants to do that. But what amazes me is that there is clearly a divided house in Pakistan, whether Mr. Sharif should be coming over or not, and we know where the opposition is coming from. As far as Mr. Peerzada and Mr. Hilali's repeated assertions about everything being wrong with India and its democracy, this is not new to us. We've been having them on our programs for years now, and it's the same line they give. But I'd request them to read at least 2 books and which will make Mr. Peerzada clear about the credentials of Hafiz Saeed. Read Stephen Tankell's The Storming the World Stage, The History of Lashkar-e-Toiba. Is Mr. Peerzada going to also deny that Lashkar-e-Toiba, under the leadership of Hafiz Saeed, other than him carrying a banner of $10 million on his head, runs the largest group of schools in Pakistan which is called the Al Dawa School, amongst other initiatives, and he still says he is a second-rate citizen lying somewhere in the corner of Pakistan. If that was the case, why did he lead the Jamaat prayers of the Imamiyat and did the Imamiyat for Osama bin Laden after he died, clearly wanting to take the mantle of Osama bin Laden after bin Laden's assassination? So here he is not an ordinary terrorist. We know that he has a very close rapport with Rawalpindi, and I think let's leave it at that. Yesterday, there was an article by Pakistan's
may I
Khalid
quickly
Ahmed,
respond
who again
to Maroof
said very
Raza?
clearly that there is this relationship between the establishment and Lashkar-e-Toiba. My big question to my Pakistani counterparts today is that do they both oppose Nawaz Sharif's visit to India? If they do, then they clearly fall into the bracket of people, I would say, who are cronies of the ISI. And if they don't, then welcome to our club.
No, do they? I don't think they do. I'm not speaking for them. Mr. Hilaly is back. Mr. Sushant Sareen, I'm coming to you. I don't think they do. But at the same time, tonight, for some strange reason, Mr. Hilaly and Mr. Peerzada cannot find the courage to say that to take the flight to New Delhi will be a slap in the face of the perverted coward called Hafiz Saeed. That it is Nawaz Sharif's best way, for a slap in the face of this man called Hafiz Saeed. I would like to hear my Pakistani guest say that. But I'm afraid my Pakistani guest will not say that for their own reasons. I'd like to hear Mr. Hilaly say that. But I don't think that he will. He should draw a direct correlation between Nawaz Sharif's flight to India and the perverted logic of that man called Hafiz Saeed. Yes, Mr.
You see, try calm yourselves down for a minute. Stop
I'm glad to get you back so you can respond this time.
And yes, try being calm.
Answer the question.
And try and understand what is the difficulty that Mr. Nawaz Sharif may be having at the moment, although there is every indication that he has already decided to come.